Welcome to Just 10 Minutes with myself, Pastor Leanne Shaw, and Dr. Reginald Morais. As promised, we want to talk about some principles about interpreting dreams. Now, where we get that from is from a great scripture in Job 33. I'll read that one out in verse 15 and 16. It says, "In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men while slumbering on their beds, then he opens the ears of man or men and seals their instruction in order to turn man from his deed." So our premise is today is that God will be speaking to you in dreams. And we know lots of people will often say, I had a dream about this, I had a dream about that. Most dismiss it as too much pizza the night before. But our point today is that God is actually using this as a ways of speaking to you. We don't have time to get into absolutely every single way of interpreting dreams.
It's a huge subject.
It is a huge subject. What we want to do is just give you 2 or 3 key points, perhaps particularly around warning dreams or dreams of a future that God is showing you. They're probably the key ones that most people...
I think people love success.
We all do. We all want to be successful. So talk to us about how God will often speak to us in both warning dreams and dreams of success.
From a practical point of view, so that I could actually get the whole audience to come with me, so I can gauge your interest on this, let's start off with an example.
Yeah.
In 1998 and 1999, the then world in Perth, Australia, no one ever would have heard about a thing called spotting memorabilia. I'll never forget, I've just graduated in 98. I finished my, 97, 98, I finished my master's. And then sometime late 1999, I finally finished my doctorate. And I finished this degrees in the United States, in a state called Virginia. I finally got my certificates, brought it back home from the United States. Went down to a shop called West Coast Memorabilia. West Coast, West Coast Printing or West Coast Framing in Osborne Park. As I got on there, and I was about to give my certificates to be framed by this guy, right at the back of me, there was a big picture, a panoramic picture of Shane Warne basically hitting the bat. It's been signed. I looked at that picture and I said to myself, mate, I just need to know how much does that cost. He says, it's $400. I turned around and I said to him, would people actually pay for this just because it's been signed? He said, this is the 10th copy I'm actually sold. I said, okay, thank you for sharing. And then I went back to my own request. I said, could you kindly do this, this certificate to be framed up? Lo and behold, I finished for the day, forgot about the whole visit to the shop and all the above. On the first night in the dream, God then starts to speak to me in a vision, in a dream. He starts to tell me, you need to start off a memorabilia called the spotting memorabilia. I woke up following morning, I rubbished it off. I said, that's a rubbish. Like what Pastor Leanne said, maybe too much garlic, ginger, curry powder, or pizzas. We do not know. I said, I'm rejecting this. This is nothing to do with God. It's got to do with me because I've just been to the shop. Then second day came around, did everything I could, went back to sleep. Second night, God speaks to me, you need to now start off a memorabilia shop. Woke up again, I looked, and this time the dream went longer. I said, oh, okay. Again, I said, too much of something, like what Pastor Leanne said. I'm rubbishing this off. Third night, finally, God starts to appear to me, this time with a thunderous voice. If you do not do something, you're going to miss out this big action. With the 3 days, consistently God coming and speaking to me, eventually then I decide to buy a whole range of Sir Don Bradman's signed cricket bats.
This is while he was alive, wasn't it?
When he was alive. God said to me, he hasn't carked it yet. One day he will cark it. In other words, one day he will die. When he dies, you will now realize how much these bats are worth. And I stocked a lot of them and I kept aside. The day came in when he did pass away. I sold a whole lot of bats and I actually made a lot of money. And so some of you guys will be saying to yourself, can we actually literally take dreams very, very seriously? And my point is, If that's the case, so then you look at Genesis, in the book of Genesis by Joseph. Joseph prevented recession for Egypt because of a dream. And then when we look at again with Daniel, a public civil servant, who King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. Yet again, Daniel is the one who comes and interprets the dream again, so that the whole Babylonian Empire will not go through a difficult time. And so you and I can't sort of say, I rubbish dreams off. I think Pastor Leanne read a scripture, Job chapter 33, verse 15, verse 16. Every time when someone reads the scripture, or when I read the scripture for myself, it brings tears to me. The simple reason is because we are a group of human beings or group of people. We love to chat, we love to talk, but we don't allow during a day period or a day season for God to speak, because we are chatterbox. But in the night, you've got no choice. You've got 8 hours of pure sleeping hours. In the middle of the night, He wants to come and seal His instructions in your heart.
Amen. All right, so we've talked about dreams that may indicate for people to have success. What about some warning dreams? If people have dreams, what we often term nightmares sometimes, people do.
Yep.
Is that a warning dream? I know not always. Again, guys,
No.
these are generalised principles. We can't give you absolutely every single aspect, but there are some ways you can learn how you're actually getting a warning message as to what could be going on in your life.
Well, for some people, if you're running a business, you're about to sign a contractual agreement with another party, or you're going to merge with someone, or you're going to get an investor coming, a big-time investor. The night before, or 1 week before, or 1 month before, God can actually speak to you. If you were to sign this contractual agreement for this merge or for this investor, it will go down the gurgler. And so God gives you a warning dream, in that don't sign this agreement, or don't buy this car, or don't buy that house, or don't do this, or don't purchase this. He is able to give us that particular dream. Apart from people, like I said to you earlier on, as we joked around, people love to have successful dreams. They want dreams of success. There's not anything wrong with it. But the same dream God can also use that medium of dream to warn you. Is he the right person? Is she the right person for your marriage? Or am my friendship with this particular gentleman, is that right? And so God can actually speak to you on that area.
Most of you, though, are probably going to get more symbolism rather than a directive like what Pastor Reg is sharing. And so most people, you may see a dream of an animal, an insect, things that are not usually great to have dreams about. They are generally warning dreams. And so you might need to seek some help to get a bit of interpretation on it. But if you're getting something or a look of something.
For not hypothetical, but for in true nature, if you dream elephant, it's not good. If you dream dog, it's not good. If you dream bats, flying bats, not good. If you dream frogs, it's not good. But if you were to dream a dove, or if you were to dream like an ant represents you're working hard. If you dream of bees are always called, they basically means team. They're working as a team. And so, you've got God can use creatures which are not going to be for you. Then God can use creatures which are for you right now. And so each one of those creatures I mentioned, they've got the good side and the bad side, and God can use it.
And snakes, that's another one a lot of people will dream about.
Snakes is the worst one, and you don't want to dream toilets, you don't want to dream cubicle pants. Again, it speaks something terribly or horribly is about to go wrong.
But the good news is, if we have time to talk about it, if you do get a warning dream, what can we do about it?
Okay. I think in our walk with ourselves, maybe Ray, myself, yourself, Karen, over the last number of years in running this church for 10 years, one of the beautiful thing is the four of us will get a dream. But I think the mercy seat of God is this. When He is able to speak to us, something disaster is going to take place. We can actually avert it and avoid it. It's not a case of just saying the words. It's a case of really you need to go and get yourself into a time of fasting, a time of praying, and go against what the enemy has got for you, what the plans he's got for you, and how he wants to destroy, you now have to take the war right up to his face by fasting and praying and breaking the stronghold.
So we're very blessed in a lot of ways to get a warning dream, to be honest, guys, because it can be about you or your relationship or your family. But as Pastor Reg said, you can pray into it. You can come against it. When I was first learning about this and I'd get a warning dream, I'd just be like, oh, okay, so that's coming. And I'd just sort of prepare myself for it, not understanding I actually was getting it to it so that I could avert it. So we want to be able to leave that hope with you. If you have any more questions about that, if you have a dream that you need some help with interpreting, please get in contact with us. All that information will be on the screen afterwards. Otherwise, we will look forward to seeing you next time for another topic that is of interest, we hope, to you in your life today. Thank you and God bless.
God bless.
Thanks once again for joining us. If there's something that was of interest to you or to someone else, please do share this onto your Facebook page or in a message, or make a comment below and just simply tag them. And then they'll be able to also look at the information, listen, and be able to be as informed as we possibly can be. Thank you and God bless.